Very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us on the Monday edition of the show. It's the first one for the week. We promise to make it watch a while. I'm Yemi Adebayo.
And I'm Cecilia Omogben. This morning we're starting with what happened on Sunday morning. Well, okay, it's a first loss, yes, for Israel Adesanya, talking about the UFC series. For him, he lost to Jan Blachowicz in the light heavyweight contest.
All right. So that's what happened.
Why is it so hard for me to say this?
Very hard. First loss for Israel Adesanya, but a lot of us are happy that he still gets to retain his belt because, of course, he moved up to challenge the Polish opponent. But, of course, well, it doesn't feel like a loss to some of us, but on the record books, first UFC defeat for Israel Adesanya, and he needs to fight another day. He's going to make another attempt to do that. All right, let's move on and talk about football on the show this morning and talk about this one. Manchester United doing what a lot of people thought they weren't going to be able to do, halting Manchester City, that winning streak, putting it to an end at the Etihad. That's what happened. And you're going to see a confirmation of that shortly. Manchester United going to the Etihad and defeated Manchester City 2-0. That's what happened. United truly humbled Manchester City. Some will say this won't stop City from winning the title, but of course it puts a dent on City. Everybody beginning to think that they were invincible.
You will just actually say they not just the dent, the fact that they just stopped the count. We've been counting.
Yeah.
I mean, we started counting from 18. When is it going to end and all that? So that's why Manchester United, for now, will be the team to look at, being able to stop the winning streak of their neighbors. So right now, you say Manchester is red, not blue anymore. So the Reds are the noisy ones right now, because for the next 1 week, they will have to be very noisy talking about this 2-0 victory. Of course, Bruno Fernandes and Luke Shaw were the guys who ensured that happened. Okay, also on the program, we'll talk about the NBA. It was a 20-point game for the Western Conference, talking about the All-Star game, Team LeBron and Team Kevin Durant. It was Team LeBron who won again. So for the fourth time, Team LeBron winning. And it was all about one man on the night, Giannis Antetokounmpo. That guy, I mean, how do you describe him? 35 points on the night, 16 for 16 shooting. He was perfect on the night. The All-Star game was just one night. It wasn't like, a weekend that we normally have. The contest, the dunk contest. The dunk contest, of course, happened. Sure. The three-point show and everything all happened on one night. And, of course, that's what we're starting off this morning, the NBA All-Star.
Yeah, I agree with you. The new format makes it look like fantasy basketball to me. Because in the real world, you probably would have a team that has Giannis, has Steph. I mean, just look at these guys. There's no way you're going to have all of these guys in the same team. So for some of us, it was like, wow, how does it feel to have Giannis and Steph Curry and LeBron all in one team doing something? And that's why it's called an All-Star game. I do agree with you, Cecilia, and it was very interesting. Let's talk about Giannis for a while. Being the best without really trying. He talked about at times when he really, really wanted to be the MVP, gave his all, and he didn't get it. But now, without trying, without struggling, effortlessly doing it and putting up a kind of performance that if you're a coach, you'll be licking your lips and say, what a guy. And he, like you said, made all 16 of his shots, 35-point performance in this game. And guess what? It was very, very competitive because these guys know they have their reputation to protect. And of course, the issue about, some sort of charity, the proceeds that will go to people because of the things they're trying to do for Kobe and all of that. So it was very, very interesting for me seeing this happen. Team LeBron, like you said, once again, coming up top, and very impressed.
Yeah, 170, 150, that was how it ended. And of course, the 70th edition of the All-Star, it was held in Atlanta. And also the fact that Giannis, we're talking about, a historic one for him because he joined with Chamberlain as the only players in NBA history to go 16 for 16 or better from the field in any game. Talking about regular season, the playoffs, or the All-Star game. That's about when we were talking about the start performance and all that. So for Chamberlain, he accomplished that feat in the regular season in 66 and 67. He was 18 for 18 and 16 for 16. So right now, Giannis, has joined that great man in that. So no wonder he was the MVP. That's the Kobe Bryant MVP honors. That's the first time in his career. Well, let's take a listen to. You have other players there, but then it was all about him on the night. Even Steph Curry, who won the 3-point contest on the night, had 8 3-pointers in 22 minutes. He had 28 points in that.
Amazing.
Amazing for him.
Amazing.
Let's get reactions from LeBron first, and then we'll listen to him and his attitude.
Guys that I obviously compete against, on a nightly basis, but guys that I'm just in awe of, and Giannis and Steph. It's my first time teaming up with Steph, and it was an honor to be on the floor with him, man. A guy that I've seen, come and be the player that he is today. But it was just, it was great to be out there with Steph and Giannis and the rest of the guys too.
Obviously, I'm extremely happy, and just having a word name after Kobe Bryant in my house, it's a great feeling. I wanted to win the one last year really bad, and I didn't have the chance to win it because I felt like, I wanted to have that trophy in my house. And but this year I wasn't even, thinking about winning it, and I was just thinking about having fun. And I had the opportunity to, play well, and my team has played great, and I was able to win it, and just having, as I said, a trophy after Kobe Bryant. It's amazing, and I know he'll be happy.
Giannis Antetokounmpo definitely happy. That's the Kobe Bryant MVP All-Star.
I will be happy too.
Yeah.
If I get to win that. And I'm impressed with what he's done. I just hope for his sake, he gets to get a ring. Okay. For his sake. But we'll see. And we'll see what happens. Now that this is done, it's out of the way, we can get back to watching the NBA, and we'll see what happens. But I'm impressed with him.
Obviously. Let's leave that and quickly talk tennis this morning. Andrei Rublev, that guy, 20 games unbeaten. Talking about the ATP 500. Mm-hmm. Now, Rublev is one player you look at. Sometimes you expect him to excel when it comes to the Grand Slams, and he doesn't. But not usually when it comes to the ATP or the 500 and all that. Yes, he's the man.
Second only to probably Novak Djokovic, the amount of wins that he's had. And sometimes I feel like apologizing to him because I always thought he was always going to be under the shadows of Daniil.
Okay, let's leave tennis, right?
Yep.
And talk about the UFC 259, what happened in light heavyweight. Now, when he stepped up, we said this was going to be a historic one. We're thinking of how he will be able to do that because it's not easy for you to step up from one particular weight to another one. It can be very, very difficult. Yes, he's middleweight champion. He hasn't lost in that one. But in light heavyweight, his first attempt, he lost to the guy we know, Jan. Jan is one powerful guy. We'll know all that. Now, the fight started. Just take a look at what happened. Surely the knockdowns and, of course, the total strikes and all that, the percentage and everything. But at the end of the day, the biggest one happens to be that the takedowns. The takedowns, he didn't get anyone. I'm talking about at Israel Adesanya. Yep. Why Blachowicz had 60% of that. Where was the fight lost, Yemi? We have someone talk about that, right?
I think it's good we allow somebody who is very experienced in combat sports talk about it. Santos clearly joins us this morning, and we want to talk about what happened. Israel Adesanya's first defeat. Santos, good morning. Thanks for joining us on the show this morning.
Good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. We can.
Perfect.
Okay. So, yesterday, a lot of us really wanted our guy to win. Naturally, as Nigerians, we're sentimental towards Israel, but it was never, ever going to be, a stroll in the park against somebody who's about 10 kilograms heavier than him in a game where grappling really counts. And like you've already rightly said, he beat Israel in takedowns. That was where he won the fight. On the ground, when both of them were on their feet, it was very close. I could even say that, Israel was winning the first round. He had the third round. Second round was debatable. But when Blachowicz realized that, this fight was slipping away, he decided to just, leave pride, and just go for what my body favors me with, and with his weight. He kept pinning Israel, and, there's nothing Israel could have done about it. You can't beat nature in that aspect.
All right. So
Okay. Please let me know. I don't want to sound like we're giving the excuse that he beat Israel just because of weight. He was more technical on that day. Israel's advantages didn't play to what he thought it would because Jan prepared very, very well for it. He blocked He blocked very well. His hands were up all the time. If you noticed, the advantages that Israel usually have with the kicks, especially when he goes down to your knees, Jean prepared well by locking his knees in, and that affected Israel in the 5th and 4th round. He even said it himself that, his legs felt weak. He didn't know why, but it was because Jean was blocking those kicks with his own weight and thus, passing that pain back to Israel.
Interesting. I mean, I love the fact that you admitted quickly that it could just be, maybe we're not trying to give excuses for his loss and all. You talked about the weight, because after the weigh-in, Adesanya was 200, and of course, Blachowicz was 205. By the end of the day, if you check the significant strikes, like you mentioned, you have the Blachowicz having 55%, and of course, for Adesanya, it was 48. Was it that Adesanya was so confident going into this fight, or he didn't really prepare for it, or because he had to step up to another weight? Just maybe he didn't have much of it, because if you check from the beginning and the fight starts and everything, all the advantages actually had to go to Blachowicz. We know Blachowicz, of course, is a veteran when it comes to the light heavyweights.
I wouldn't say Israel didn't prepare for the fight. Israel is like Batman. He reads his opponents. He plans very, very, very well. But he was outsmarted yesterday because he didn't prepare for one thing, in my opinion, and that was the reach that Blachowicz has. Now, in Israel's weight category, you don't necessarily find guys who outreach him, who have longer arms than him. So he uses the advantages more often than not. He gets in, he gives you a long punch from far, keeps you out. And then when you try and punch him, he leans backward because your hands are usually short. With Blachowicz, that wasn't the case. When he tried to lean backward, many times Blachowicz caught him. If you watch, and when Blachowicz didn't catch him, when you lean back, you're giving him your waist. So when he leaned back, Blachowicz would go for the waist and pin him down. It was a tactical masterclass from Blachowicz. Much respect to Blachowicz. Much respect to Israel as well, because I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't step up 10 kilograms to fight the champion in that category. It takes a lion to do that. And that's why our respect for him yesterday doubled, because he's unbeaten in his weight category, and I don't think anybody in his weight category can smell him right now. Pound for pound, in my opinion, and a lot of people might argue with me, I think Israel Adesanya is the best fighter in the MMA, pound for pound. But you just can't beat nature, like I said earlier.
Okay.
What's the implication?
I would have loved to ask you more questions, but I do guess what comes to my mind now is, but maybe we just leave it at that, Cecilia.
I was going to ask maybe the implications of losing his first fight.
Okay.
I mean, if there are implications of it. Implications of him losing his first fight, because he said that he's going to come back to the light heavyweight again. But for now, you go back to middleweight and have his fight, then he's going to come back to it. What's the implication of it, him losing his first fight in this division?
It's a win-win situation. He lost the fight, but he wasn't defeated. Israel Adesanya is a mentally balanced person, very mentally strong person. It is win-win, and I feel very bad for every other person in his normal category, because they might then be delusional and assume that, okay, we can go for this. You can't, People like that, I've seen them, I've fought many people. People like that, the losses only spur them forward. He has lost in his career. This is not the first time. This is only the first time in the MMA. He has lost in kickboxing and some other arenas, and it only triples the effect that it brings back into the game. So I can't even wait to see his next fight, and I feel very bad for the next person. It could be Costa, Whittaker, Darren Till, or Vettori. He said he wanted to fight Darren Till next, so the British guy ranked number 9 presently in that way. So let's see. We can't tell.
Thank you so much, Santos, for taking our time to talk to us about this morning. Hopefully, when he wins his next fight, of course, we'll be able to talk about that and celebrate. All right, we need to go on a break. After this, we'll be talking about the Nigerian Professional Football League, and of course, NNL. You also have the English Premier League coming your way. Welcome back. Okay, today's International Women's Day, of course. Happy celebration to all the women across the world. Today, we'll be talking about International Women's Day. Not just that, we'll also be talking about MPFL and all that. But you guys can talk to us on our Twitter handle. Yep. What you think about what went down at the weekend, especially the Manchester derby. I know that's what everyone wants to talk about. And, of course, Liverpool, the promo continues at Anfield. I mean, just go to Anfield and get all 3 points. Fulham is the latest to get that. 6 defeats in a row. What's happening to Liverpool? So tell us about that on our Twitter handle. Now, of course, the messages you want to send to all the beautiful women across the world, to your wife, your daughters, send us those messages. We'll try to read out some of them that are really, really nice.
Yes, it's a day to celebrate women. Of course, we'll be doing that from this part. Don't forget to send in your tweets. A lot of them coming in already, but we'll save that for the last part of the show. Like my colleague Cecilia said, International Women's Day is today. I want to celebrate all the women. Let's allow you see this report put together on the International Women's Day. And of course, when we return from that, Shola Ridge is already waiting in the wings to talk about all the things happening in the world of sports. But we'll take this report put together by my colleague sitting right next to me, Cecilia Morogbe, and we'll come back for more sports this morning.
Every year, the world celebrates International Women's Day. And in Nigeria, there's an increase in awareness on the day as many continue to demand more opportunities for the female folk. In the field of sports, more women are embracing formerly male-dominated aspects. For instance, in cycling, it's all about choosing to challenge the norm, breaking barriers, and conquering fear.
We're changing the narrative, and we feel that we as a club, we just felt that showcasing women cycling in a single peloton on a day like this to commemorate International Women's Day will make young girls think if they can do it, I can do it as well.
I think it's something we have to start from grassroots, and so we have to target children. As they're growing up, we need to be able to support them, encourage them such that they're able to take up a sport at least.
While Psychology Amazon cyclists are encouraging more women to participate in sports, the issues of creating the necessary environment and support that will help them thrive is still a major discussion.
There is a long way to go in Nigeria, but there is hope.
Boys and girls are regularly seen at sporting facilities training together, but very few girls make it to professional level. Favor Asukuwo is from Akwa Ibom State and loves basketball. She came to Lagos to pursue her passion.
The only challenge I'm having playing basketball is because of chance. I don't have chance. I'm hustling because I'm the second child to my parents. I don't have money.
Those who are lucky enough to achieve their dreams and excel are still fighting for better structure and welfare, while the rest of the world is focusing on equal pay and visibility.
We don't have a proper structure in my country, and then you want me to come and start coming out and start saying, okay, I want the same amount you're paying the Super Eagles for being. The Super Eagles generate from TV rights. They hardly show our games on TV anyways. Let us play a lot of friendly games as much as we can. Then when we get to that level, we'll start discussing about the next things.
For women in sports, International Women's Day celebration can only be meaningful when they are applauded, sponsored, and equally rewarded as their male counterparts.
All right, nice one there. All right, so Shola just joins us now to talk about a lot of things, including the International Women's Day. Shola, greetings to you. Thanks for joining us on the show this morning.
Good morning, guys. It's a pleasure to be in the studios, and it's always a pleasure to be on Channels TV.
All right, so let's just dive straight into it, Shola. Let's talk about the women and that report you just viewed. Your take, and of course, a chance to celebrate with the women.
That was a very beautiful report, well put together. And, you started out with cycling and ended up with football. In between, we saw the basketballer from the South who's relocated to Lagos to, live a dream and everything. Basically captures the different aspects of the game. And one of the most intelligent things I've heard a sports person say was what Asisat Oshoala said, that if you're going to be asking for equal pay, you also need to be generating such, We understand that, but regardless, we're still going to keep pushing for women, to be put on the same pedestal as men when it comes to, remuneration and everything. I believe that sometime in the near future, the paradigm will shift. I believe that women's sports will earn more, and that at the end of the day, the men might have to beg for some, thing. You think I'm playing around, but I tell you that day will come, because the quality of the women's game, even in Nigeria and across the world, regardless of the sport that it is you want to talk combat sports, you want to talk, it's actually on the high, you know, tennis and all of that. And some of the Grand Slams have already started the equal payment thing, you know. So eventually women will get better remuneration and, you know, the world will be a better place because women deserve all the accolades that they can get. You know, without them, there's no us. They're the ones that give birth to us, there's ones that nurtured us and all of that. So for me, International Women's Day is a good platform and we can't celebrate women enough. So if there's another platform and another day and another one, bring it on because the women have been there and they will continue to, you know, be there. And we just hope that we can continue to allow them be there because they shouldn't be begging us. It should be even. You know, everybody should have a chance, you know, a level playing field. And that's why it's important to listen to what the women are asking for and make sure they get it.
Interesting. I mean, talking about equity, fair play, level playing ground. And when we have all that, that visibility you talked about will definitely be there. And what Asisat Shola talked about will obviously be there, that level playing ground, having them out there. And now, just over the weekend, we have the chairperson of the Nigerian Women's Football League board, talking about Aisha Falode, you know, had to make a visit to the Minister for Women's Affairs. I mean, talking about Pauline Tallinn. And of course, what was she talking about? She's talking about the fact that, look, we have to support women's football, have corporate bodies coming into women's football. And if they're able to sponsor them, then that money will definitely come into play because that's what Assis had mentioned. That if you don't have this, you won't get this. Now, if you get that TV right deals and all that, you have sponsorship, you have the campaign, everything coming in, obviously, you definitely get everything. So it's all about that equal pay, you know, equity, fairness, and of course, that level playing ground for everyone. Giving them the attention that they deserve. And I'm very happy we are hearing this from the highest level. And I'm very sure Shola agrees with us as well. If you invest in the ladies, you're going to get good returns. They are our mothers, they take care of us, like Shola rightly said. Let me also allow Shola pitching into this as well. You know, when you start hearing this kind of deliberations, how does it make you feel? I hope in a time not too long from now, we get to a point where deliberately we start doing things to bridge the gap.
Well, you guys remember that myself and a couple of other sports journalists were part of the Women's Football Foundation, where we actually led the battle of getting these women some form of recognition. We don't want to go into the negative aspect of the things that were happening then, you know, but we've come a long way. You remember when the Super Falcons were champions of Africa and they get to Nigeria and you heard them in a truck, you know. I don't know if you guys remember. We've come a long way from that now, you know. So, yes, I would continue to advocate for it. I'm a strong advocate for the fact that, you see, it's not that women should be begging us. It should be a natural thing that should happen. And one of the things that I keep begging for is, you know, there's a picture that's gone viral. They're talking about top women heading top banks and top corporate bodies in Nigeria. Can they start looking into the way of sports too? You know, if we have women-centric brands and products who will buy into Nigerian sports, it will go a long way. You know, statistically, there's supposed to be more women, you know, in the world, and especially in Nigeria. So if that is true or not, can we have more women also come to support women? Go to the women's games, you know, buy their tickets, buy their souvenirs, you know, look for a local team around your area, look for a girls' school around your area, a girls' team, and support them. When the women come out to support themselves, the world will change and everything will change. It's not going to be them begging. It's going to be the men trying to look. How were we able to keep these people back for so long, you know? So for me, I'm going to say again that it's time for women to also support women. You know, while you're trying to advocate for men, you know, or the administrators who are actually men to look their way, remember that the women have the numbers, they have the powers, and they're in top positions now. They're ministers, they're first ladies, and they're corporate tigers and all of them in charge of top bodies in Nigeria. So it's time for them to actually put their money where their mouth is. You know, let women come out to support women.
Interesting. I mean, I love that. I think we'll just end it here because this is the discussion you just talked about. We already have a brand. We've got the basketball team. We've got the Super Falcons. We've got the league. I mean, Nigerian Women's Football League Premiership. We've seen what Aisha Falode's board, what they're doing with the league and all that. We've seen the fact that, you know, they were the first league to start. Why the men were still thinking, should we start or not? After the pandemic, of course, the ladies are, I mean, taking that bold step and starting something remarkable. I mean, what all they need is just sponsorship. Put the money in there and you see how big this will be. Okay.
All right.
So let's.
And the returns will come. All right.
That's what it is.
Like you said, we could go on a lot if we want to, but of course, time not always our friend. So let's move on the show, Shola. Let's talk about the Nigerian Professional Football League. Some interesting. We're going to go to Just in a bit to talk about some interesting things and allow Shola explain some things I don't understand in football these days. But let's take a look at the results first. That's the first thing we're going to do. Then we talk about the game in focus will be Plateau United and MFM. But first, let's take a look at the results. I'm very sure you're going to have it on your screen. That is it. Okay, Rivers United beating Jigawa Golden Stars 2-0. Plateau United, our official game, defeated MFM 3-1. Nasarawa United defeated Lobby Stars 1-0. Casino United played a goalless draw with Sunshine Stars. Of course, all the results. Adamawa United. This is a good one because it appears like they've been donating points for a while. Defeated Dakar 2-0. Kano Pillars played a 1-1 draw with Rangers. Of course, we knew it was going to be tough, so no surprises there. Heartland played a 2-2 draw with Abia Warriors. Wiki Tourist was a 1-1 draw with Kwara United. These are the results on match day 14. There you have it, the results on match day 14. And so let me just quickly go back. All right, let's take these two.
Postpone.
These games will be played later on.
Warri Wolves is today. Then Ifeanyi and of course Enyimba,
Yes.
that has been postponed. But Warri Wolves game will be
Played
today.
Okay. All right. Shola Rogers, your thoughts in a minute or two before we go to the feature game.
Yeah, interesting things. I remember last week I was telling you guys that Rivers United is going to bounce back. You can see from the result that they are back. You know, that's a good one for them. And again, it's still amazing how Kwara United, regardless of that away draw that they got, you know, they're still, you know, on top of the log. It's very interesting. I like that. I like the fact that it's not the traditional teams that you've been used to, the Kano Pillars or the Enyimbas or the Rangers of this world. It's actually Kwara, you know, and this is a good sign. I hope they can actually go all the way. I don't know if they have it in them to go all the way, but I would love to see that happen. It shows you that the league is opening up and everything. So it's a good one. I'm impressed with those results. And like you joked earlier, Adamawa back to winning ways. Hopefully it will continue for them. You know, the promo seems to be over and all of that. But in all, a good weekend for Nigerian Professional Football League.
Yeah, talking about our star match for the game, the one we're going to talk about is the one definitely between Plateau United and MFM, because you have some scuffles actually happened in that game.
Mild controversy.
Yeah, there was when the first goal came in and all that. You saw MFM players actually, you know, surrounding the referee. But then let's see pictures coming from that game. You have Mohamed Zulkifli was the one who scored the first goal, 56th minute. Before he scored another one at 76. Isa Ndala, 86th minute. Of course, Nojim Adeyinka was the one who tried to get it back for MFM and all that. But then it was a little too late because Nojim actually scored his goal 81st minute. After he did that, Ndala, of course, had to score the other one, 86th minute and all that. And then they were already down by 3-1 and that, so there was nothing, you know, they could do about that. But for that particular game, I mean, we expect, of course, Plateau United were always going to win because going into the game, we'll listen to Abdul Makaiba talking about, you know, what they intend to do with that match. They want to get all 3 points at home because Rivers went there to get a point. So they needed that 3 points to ensure that where they were at the bottom wasn't really comfortable for them, so they had to move up. And this was after the first goal, and then you have that scuffle that happened. So apparently, MFM players were not really happy with the first goal. But I don't think
let's even situate it properly, Cecilia. Yeah. The linesman waved the flag.
Yeah.
They were looking at the linesman, and the ref pointed to the spot, and you know, a mild. But these are the other goals. Like you said, Plateau United won fair and square. But probably we could just go to that incident and let Shola Rogers talk about it. But it was an interesting game, regardless of that little situation. I'm very sure we're going to see that incident. We were talking about maybe while Shola is commenting about it. MFM tried to fight back, but it wasn't just going to happen. So, Shola, let us come to you. You're going to see that moment while you're speaking. So, there you go. This is it. I want Shola to see this before he makes his call. I think this is the moment. This is the moment. All right.
I think this is third goal.
That's the moment. And the MFM guys walking towards the referee. Okay, that's the incident. all right, Shola. I sympathize with the MMFN guy, but I do not like their conduct. I don't know what your take is, because they saw the linesman raise his flag, and they're saying the referee point to the spot.
This is very disgraceful from a professional football team. You do not crowd the referee like that. It's not done. Remember last week we talked about a similar incident, and I'm glad that as soon as we talked about it, I'm not saying we suggested it, but I'm saying that when we talked about it, there was some action that was taken, right? So you don't do this. Regardless of how you feel, regardless of whatever it is, there are match assessors on ground. There's a match commissioner on ground. There's a video of this match. There are channels that you can push this through. You don't go crowding around the referee. You're more or less threatening him, so you don't do that. We need to protect everybody. And the referee is also important. Even if the linesman had raised his flag, the referee still has the final say. You could have allowed your captain undo this. Only the captain. Not all of this. This has brought the game into disrepute. You don't do this. This is completely wrong. And this is 2021. We should have moved past this. Yes, you had a call. Yes, you feel there was a little bit of controversy. But do we need this? Do you know how many people are watching these games now that they are being streamed? People are watching it all over the world. Is this the image of Nigerian football that we want to project? No, we don't want to see this kind of thing. And I'm hoping that within the MFM fold, they will sanction their players first, even before the league management company comes down on them. There's going to be fines and things will be done to deter them from doing this another time. Now, what I saw, I felt that the overhead kick was kind of dangerous. We know what the rule says about how high your feet can go and all of that. If that was the controversy, you didn't need to do this. If you felt there was an offside or something, or there was an infringement, we're not going to encourage people who are going to get violent or stop the game from being played. So for me, this is very, very wrong on the part of MFM. It's the truth. Shouldn't do this again.
Okay. All right, we need to go on a break. And when we return from that break, we'll see how far we can go with the few minutes we have left on the show. A lot of ground to cover, but we'll see how far we can go. We need to go on a break right about now. And when we return, we get straight back into it.
Every match is important. And we have lost 2 points in the last game. And we knew that no match is easy, more especially around this time of the season. MFM came with a good team, with a good strategy, but we are happy we have scored early in the second half. It will have been a very tough game. And we are happy we have won this game. We got the 3 points, so we forge ahead. I think Plateau United, if you go back and look at the statistics, we are one of the highest scoring team. If not the highest, we are one of the highest scoring team. We scored 3 goals at home 4 times, 12 goals. And I believe not all the teams have done that.
I don't like talking about officiating, but it's very painful that we can't be playing like this and playing with our effort. And we said in the first half we play a draw because that is what we planned and it worked well for us. In the second half, the atmosphere, the way the man in charge of the game, controlling the game is nowhere to be found. And that caused an offside goal. And the referee says it's a goal while the last man is raising a flag for infringement and offside. But that gives them the edge for them to even be ahead to play the game.
All right, reactions from both managers there talking about the game. We'll leave it at that. We're going to talk some more later on, but obviously not today because of time. Let's go to the Nigeria National League. Let's quickly reel out the results. We start from Group A1, Match Day 5 results. OS Sports lost to EFCC 2-1. Rara played a 1-1 draw with El Kanemi Warriors. Sokoto United defeated FC Taraba 2-0. Go to Group A2 quickly. Shekarau FC defeated Sanfara United 3-1. Kogi United lost to Yobe Desert Stars by a lone goal. ABS played a 1-1 draw with KB United. Niger Tornadoes defeated Malum Fashi 2-0. Road Safety and DMD played a goalless draw. That's Group A2. We go to Group B1, Oshi United and Vandresa. Mad controversy in that game. We'll see if we can talk about it today. Ended 2-1. Ekiti United, Navy United 2-1. Calabar Rovers and Nilayo FC was goalless. Giant Brilliance, Delta Force, goalless as well. Go round and Dynamo Force, it was 1-0 go round winning. Shooting Stars and Stationary Stores. Shooting Stars and Stationary Stars. I had to look at this again. Stationary Stars won 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0, Yemi. Yeah.
All right. Nigerian National League, Group B2. Julius Satete defeating Joy Comet. Apex Crane played a 2-2 draw with Benel Insurance. Raymond Stars defeating Gateway United 2-0. Ibom Youth played a 2-1, was 2-1 in favor of Ibom Youth over Only Arrows. 1 Rocket defeated Abia Comets 1-0. Godowski defeating Bayelsa United by a lone goal. That's Nigeria National League. Cecilia, we talked about mild drama. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to talk about it today because we're pressed for time. But we promise our viewers that we're going to talk about it extensively tomorrow and get the two sides, talking about Oshi United and Vandresa. Conflicting reports as to what happened in Oshogbo regarding that game, but we'll have more time on our hands tomorrow to talk about it. Cecilia wants to travel to England and...
Quickly. All right, the game between Manchester United and, of course, Manchester City. And everyone wanted United to prove everyone wrong. Yes, that we're talking about
Mostly
that.
you, though.
I mean, some people in the studio right now that are looking at me actually, hailing and talking. Come on, you don't have opportunity to say it here. But Manchester United beat Manchester City 2-0. Manchester City have been unbeaten 21. We'll be counting it on this show. And finally, it was United who ended it at Etihad. Now, United had a chance to actually end that of Liverpool at Anfield. They couldn't. A week later, we saw Burnley doing what they couldn't do because it ended goalless. But they had a chance against Manchester City, and they didn't want to lose that. Now, Shola Rogers, quickly, did you ever think that United could beat City at Etihad yesterday?
People should stop this funny thing, right? I don't know why they are so excited. This is the Man United that we all know. They would step up their game against Man City or one or two other teams, then go and play shambolically against the lesser oppositions. That's why there's a gulf and there's a difference between Man City and Man United. It's a derby, and when you play derbies, form is thrown out of the window. There's nothing like that everybody should be making noise about, because look at the gap between Man City and Man United. You beat the league leaders, but they are miles ahead of you. And they're probably still going to win the league. So what's the noise about? For me, I think that if they have been consistent like this, then it is worth talking about. But it's obvious that this is a team that will flatter to deceive. It's almost like the manager knows how to renew, his contract. Once he wins a big game, then he's going to go on a losing spree and start picking up
quick
draws
response,
and
Shola.
stuff.
Quick response.
For me, I don't think it's
Shola.
much. I had a terrible weekend with Shooting Stars and Stationary Stars.
Oh, yeah, I could understand. Quick
I'm
response.
still licking my wounds, actually. So
Is a title chase on the cards? Quick one. Ole has ruled out, but is a title chase on the card?
Can you say that again, Yemi? I didn't get it.
Is a title chase on the card? The Manchester United manager said no, but some people seem to be energized.
Who are the people that are energized? The man in charge has said no, so why are you energized? Can you cry more than the bereaved? The man said there's no title chase. Everybody knows there's no title chase. The only reason why City will not win this league is if City start to do like United, be inconsistent. So, title chase, please don't even start.
All right.
Okay, we shouldn't start the title chase. Okay, Shola, I want to thank you so much for taking our time to join us once again this morning. We'll just read some of your tweets before we leave the studio. We have just a very little time. Now, I'll read this one from Noble Flyerman that says, as of this morning, I can confirm that the sky over Manchester is red. Everyone came to the party. In fact, it could be worse, and should negative results to come out of Anfield, then I see Klopp getting the hammer. Okay, wow. Ooh. All right, Ayodeji says, good morning, guys. Please, can you help to, updates on talking about the Nigerian Women's Football League. Okay, we'll definitely do that next time. All right, you also have Femi talking about, he says, I think, good morning, I think VAR has been inconsistent this season, especially in England. It cost Arsenal their match over the weekend. Yes, it was a draw. Kayode Taiwo says, it's a happy International Women's Day to all the women in the world. Thank you for that. And of course, Willie Sema is also, praising all the women across the world. No. But then he said something about the gap between men and women in Nigerian sport is massive. Imagine the female national team playing on artificial turf in Agege. That's the story. It will change soon. William Sema, okay, it says Liverpool is not a regular team. They will be inconsistent like the way Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea have been in recent years. The only top and elite team in EPL is Manchester City. Okay, interesting. And Shemala says Abia Warriors are true to their name now. Proudly Abia Warriors, yeah, because they are winning. And Moses says, I never thought that Man United could do the impossible, but this is what makes EPL unique. I hope they will keep the temple as to keep winning. Okay. Yeah.
We got to go. We got to go. I want to thank you for your time on the show today. We really appreciate it. A lot of things we wanted to do, we can. But we're back here again tomorrow. Take you on the trip across the money spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Do have a great day.